Good evening, everyone. Mike Palmer from Know Your Rights Group and Success Coaching International with another important live video update. So I spoke a little bit about this constant push towards a cashless society on the last video update I did on Thursday night. Now that video has actually been viewed over 12,500 times already just in the last few days. So if you did miss that for any reason, please make sure you go back and watch it. And I'm going to cover some more important information on that topic again tonight, because I honestly believe that this is the single biggest issue that we are currently facing in this country, and in fact probably across the world, especially in this country now that voice referendum was comprehensively defeated. So first up, if there's anybody that's watching this video or has this video pass on to them that still somehow thinks that this push towards a cashless society or the push towards digital IDs is somehow not this great big issue that I'm making it out to be, please take note of some of the points raised in this article. Now it is quite long, but it does raise some very important points. So it is entitled "Not a Conspiracy." Federal MP shares personal bank nightmare as he warns of a digital identity transition. A federal MP has delivered a fiery speech warning that a personal bank struggle proves the dangers of digital identity changes headed for Australians. A federal Liberal MP has put the Australian banking sector on blast in Parliament after he and many of his constituents were locked out of their online accounts. As the banking sector faces criticism over the mass closure of banks and ATMs, member for Menzies Keith Wallahan has this week told fellow parliamentarians of the moment he was among many left stranded with no access to his own money due to digital identity issues. Mr. Wallahan said that he and his children were having a quick breakfast out between early morning running club and school when his cards declined, leaving him unable to settle the bill. I had to get my brother to quickly come and get my kids to school, he explained. When I eventually got through to the bank, they wanted to talk to me about verifying my driver's license, and to get my attention, they shut down all my banking. Fellow members of the floor could be heard agreeing. He said that while his situation was a minor inconvenience, he later found numerous constituents were caught out in much more dire situations. They did that at a time when many people were exiting car parks, they couldn't pay for them, and there was a huge queue behind them. People were embarrassed in front of their friends and family at restaurants. Many people had things to do, he said. For the convenience of the bank wanting to know what your ID was, even if you've been banking with them for decades, okay, they could switch off your banking like that. Disconnect you from your ability to be part of your economy. Because remember, all that money in the bank is ultimately your money. The bank is just borrowing it from you, and all of a sudden they press a button and you can't access your own money. This is a real issue. News.com.au understands the cut-offs occurred as Australian banks reconfirmed customers' identities amid an anti-money laundering crackdown. He argued it warranted suspicion into how digital identification is used in the banking sector and customers' vulnerability in the digital economy. The fiery speech was delivered as a warning shot to the Digital Identity Bill. Now, this is what we need to focus on. If passed, the bill will establish a nationally regulated system for digital ID that will be accessible across both public and private sectors. Everyone is going to have access to your digital ID. This is a huge concern. The new system pledges to include strong privacy provisions, and the ACCC will be the initial regulator. Okay, who's going to be the subsequent regulator and the subsequent regulator after that? Okay, no actual information, just like the voice referendum. Just sign up for it now and we'll tell you all the details later. Oh, well, this is the primary regulator, but we don't know who's going to take over the role down the track. Okay, we do not want this bill passing. Mr. Wallahan told news.com.au that the anecdote shows a need for Australia to approach a broad digital transition with caution. He said it proved that the institutional capacity to affect the public is accurate. It's not a conspiracy theory, he said. There are people who may write this off as people who are engaging in conspiracies or fantasies, but they're not. Okay? So here is a federal MP telling you that all the stuff that we're here telling you is absolutely true. There may be people who have had an experience like mine or heard of one that has given them cause for concern. We're vulnerable to cyber attacks and other system shutdowns. Weighing into recent coverage regarding a supposed move away from cash, Mr. Wallahan, whose suburban electorate has seen banks and ATMs vanish, hoped physical currency would remain as fire insurance. We should think very carefully about removing it, he said. People are asking the question, where and how do I get cash? He said elderly and migrant community members struggle the most to adapt to the digital economy, which is becoming increasingly ingrained. They understand the freedom that comes with being able to pay for things with cash, he said. Earlier today, news.com.au reported APRA's latest findings covering the 12 months leading up to June 2023 shows 424 bank branches, or 11% of Australia's overall branches, have disappeared. 11% of branches gone. Shut up shop, no longer exist. The data collected by APRA also highlights a rapidly declining trend in the number of ATMs available to the public. The past year witnessed an 11% reduction in ATMs, with more than 700 cash machines removed. Since 2017, Australia has seen a staggering 60% decrease in operational ATMs. 60% decrease in ATMs, leaving fewer than 6,000 cash machines across the entire country. Jason Bryce from Cash Welcome Campaign, who led a 130,000 strong petition lobbying to maintain access to cash, said the nation is being herded into digital banking. They don't have a right to herd us into a private system and charge us fees, he said. Okay? And remember, every time you tap and go, or you use your watch, or you use your phone, you are being charged fees, and so is the merchant or the business that's using that facility. So everyone's getting charged, and the banks just keep making larger and larger profits at our expense. So please, as that article noted, okay, that federal MP said that a number of constituents had made it clear to him that they had had similar issues. This shows you that when people write to their MPs, they do take notice. They do read those letters. So please, I urge you, I've said this more times than I can count this year, this is the year above all others that we really need to be proactive. So please, set aside 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe even half an hour if you need to, just to draft a few letters and send them off to your local MPs, your state MPs, your federal MPs, Minister for Finance, the Prime Minister, anyone else that you can think of, and let them know in your own words, whatever your personal feelings and concerns are about these digital IDs and this constant push towards making Australia a cashless society, okay? And let them know that as your representatives, okay, because they're your elected representatives, okay, that you expect them to express your will on the floor of Parliament when these types of issues are coming up, when they're being debated, when bills are being put forward. You want them to represent your will at every single opportunity. So here is the latest data regarding all of those branch and ATM closures. Now, this again should be a concern for absolutely everybody watching this, not just people who might be in the specific areas that are mentioned. So that's the title of the article there, if you want to go and look it up. And it says, not consumer-led. Fury as 424 banks and 718 ATMs shut down. A radical shift away from in-person banking and ATM availability in Australia has sparked fears that the end of cash is finally upon us. New data has seemingly reaffirmed an influential Australian cash advocate's fears the nation is being herded into digital banking against the will of many. Now, here's the thing. If they're acknowledging that this is the will of many, why aren't we having a referendum vote? Why isn't the government taking this minority group into consideration? Because, of course, it doesn't serve their purpose. It's not in line with their agenda. Every other minority group gets whatever they want. But all of a sudden you have people saying, no, we don't want to go cashless, and oh no, we don't want to listen to them. The Australian Prudential Regulation Authority, or APRA, confirmed on Wednesday that a significant number of bank branches have vanished in the last year. Perhaps even more disconcerting is that 122 of these branches, 7% of all branches, were situated in regional and remote areas, exacerbating these communities' banking access issues. This continues a trend that has seen branch numbers decline by 34% in regional and remote areas and 37% overall since the end of June 2017, stated APRA in a press release on Wednesday. The concerns raised by the Australian public have prompted a Senate committee inquiry into bank closures in regional Australia, which I've covered on previous videos. APRA has assured its support for this ongoing inquiry, stating that APRA is also closely following the progress of the Senate inquiry into bank closures in regional Australia and will continue to support its work. Australian Banking Association Chief Executive Anna Bligh weighed in, suggesting mandates obliging banks to maintain some regional branches would divert crucial funds away from cyber security technology. Here's a hint for you, Anna. It does not matter how much you spend on cybersecurity technology, you can never achieve the outcome you are looking for. Okay, and I say this at every one of our live events. Okay, all you need to do is go back to World War II, the Enigma machine, all those sorts of things. There is no code that is made by man or woman, we're not sexist here, that cannot also be broken by man or woman. So it doesn't matter how many billions, trillions, whatever you throw at it, you can't make a 100% secure code because the person that made it can break it and therefore someone else can break it. Okay, so this rubbish about, but forcing branches to stay open in regional areas is going to take valuable assets away from, cyber security technology is a load of garbage. It does not stack up in the real world. The release of the APRA data comes as 129,000 concerned Australians raised their voices demanding via an online petition that access to banking services will not continue to dwindle. Leading them is Jason Bryce, who started Cash Welcome Australia after noticing a localised move away from cash and the problems caused during the depths of the COVID-19 pandemic. He argues that it is not something that's consumer-led, not at all. They're trying to herd us away from something that is essentially a public-owned piece of economic infrastructure, the cash that's issued by the Reserve Bank of Australia. He said many Australians lament the move towards digital banking, which, he argued, charge fees and collect personal information. Millions of Australians, many of them vulnerable, rely on cash every single day. And of course, we've all been stuck when a system goes down with our hand in our pockets and we don't have any real money. Notes left by petition supporters echoed the calls from Mr. Bryce. We should not be forced to use electronic banking. Cash must be an option, one wrote. My freedom is important to me. Nobody has the right to access my wealth but me. Digital is unreliable, added another. I still use cash and I don't trust the electronic world. If the power goes out, you're stuffed, added another. Okay, and that is a key point. It's all of these outages. Okay, that's the big issue here. Okay, so look, I'm going to come back to that again in a minute, but I know I've said it many times before, and I'm just going to keep saying it until everybody gets the message. We need to keep cash alive, and the best way to do that is to keep using cash at every opportunity. So please, if you haven't already done so, I would urge you to please add your signature to Jason's petition, and there should be a link going up in the description of the video, to legislate a formal cash and banking guarantee in this country, and at the same time putting a huge dent in this relentless push towards us becoming a completely cashless society. Now, again, on that same point, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you join our Call Out Cashless Businesses Facebook group. Again, you should find a link in the description. And again, let's keep naming and shaming these businesses that are either unaware of the overall agenda or worse still actually support it, whether deliberately or unknowingly, okay, and refuse to accept cash. And of course, as well, make sure you join our sister group, Cash is King discussion group. Again, there should be a link in the description here. And again, let's start sharing these ideas around as far and as wide as we can so that people really do start to understand what this cashless push is really all about and what the obvious issues are. Now, should any of you watching this need any more reason to take all of this very, very seriously, then please check out the latest article that I'm about to go through, which again incorporates all of this information that I've just covered, plus also covers what I read out on Thursday night's video as well. Again, it's a little bit longer, but it raises some very important points. This one's entitled, "The Move to a Cashless Society Isn't Just a Possibility, It's Well Underway." When was the last time you used cash? For many Australians, using cash or even swiping a card has become a rare event. The move towards a cashless society started 50 years ago with the introduction of the bank card and was driven by technological advancements. But it really took off with the COVID pandemic when consumers and retailers were reluctant to handle potentially infected notes and coins. And of course, we all found out what a load of rubbish that was, with the Royal Mint actually issuing a statement to say, no, there's no risk of catching COVID from cash. The federal government last week underscored its recognition of this trend by unveiling reforms to regulate digital payment providers. From big cities to remote rural corners, the shift towards digital payments is evident. This raises the question, is a cashless society inevitable? And so it goes on, and there's a subheading here saying the phenomenal growth of the digital payments. The convenience, oh, they love that word, that convenience. The convenience of digital transactions has become irresistible for consumers and businesses and has led to the sector eclipsing traditional payment methods. The relentless march of technology has produced a myriad of innovative platforms, from mobile wallets to buy now, pay later schemes, each vying for a piece of this burgeoning market. A recent report by the Australian Banking Association paints a vivid picture of the digital payment industry's explosive expansion. The use of digital wallet payments on smartphones and watches has soared from 746 million in 2008 to over 93 billion in 2022. Cash only accounts for 13% of consumer payments in Australia as of the end of 2022, a stark contrast to 70% in 2007. So again, I can't make this any clearer. These are the figures. This is the data that they rely on when they make these statements. Oh, well, people don't want to use cash anymore, so we'll just go to a cashless society. They rely on those figures and say, see, you told us so that's obviously what you want, so we're going to do it. We have to change those figures, and the only way we can change those figures and change that data is by using cash at every opportunity. About 40% of Australians are comfortable leaving home without their actual wallets or even credit or debit cards, as long as they have their mobile devices with digital wallets. What? Are you serious? I'd be beside myself if I left the house without my wallet. And 40% of Australians are comfortable with it? Come on. The astonishing speed at which Australians have embraced digital payments place the country among the top users of cashless payments globally, surpassing the United States and European countries. Okay, that is not an accolade or an achievement that we want at all in the slightest. That is a massive red flag, and that should be a huge warning to everybody watching this. So it goes on with a second subheading, are government regulations necessary? The government's planned regulation of the system, contained in amendments to the Reforms to the Payment Systems Regulation Act 1998, is a big step towards establishing a secure and trustworthy cashless society in Australia. I mean, if that's not an oxymoron, I don't know what is. Secure and trustworthy cashless society. I mean, the two just do not go hand in hand at all. Okay? It will subject BNPL, buy now, pay later, and digital wallet service providers like Apple Pay and Google Pay to the same oversight by the RBA as traditional credit and debit cards. Great. What a wonderful idea. Let's have the RBA, the Reserve Bank of Australia, which is not what many people think, the government bank at all. It is a foreign-owned bank. That is the international banking cartel. Let's have the international banking cartel, who are the head of the problem, regulating all the payment services. What a brilliant idea. Not. Come on. The regulations will require providers meet clear standards for security measures, data protection and dispute resolution to give Australians confidence their funds and personal information are safeguarded. Because they've done such a good job with that so far this year, haven't they? You know, the Medicare hack, the Optus hack, the Telstra hack, all the other systems that have gone down, the taxation hack with the law firm, accounting firm, just nuts. With increasing concern over cyber attacks, gee, I wonder why, the regulations will help reduce the risk, not eliminate. They're not telling you they're going to eliminate it, they're just going to help to reduce it. By what, 1%, 2%, 5%? What is the actual impact that this is going to have in real world terms? Oh, we don't know, but just sign up for it now and we'll tell you later, like The Voice. Hey. Help reduce the risk of fraudulent activities and money laundering, and help identify, not absolutely confirm all, help identify suspicious transactions, maintaining the integrity of the financial system. Here's a hint, guys. There is absolutely no integrity in the current financial system. The whole thing is a great big Ponzi scheme, okay? Because we keep borrowing money from the international banking cartel at interest, but the interest that has to be paid on top doesn't exist, so we have to borrow more money to cover that interest, and so on it goes, which is why every country's debt is growing exponentially. It's a huge Ponzi scheme where they just keep borrowing and printing more and borrowing and printing more, okay? There's no gold-backed currency anymore. All of those lovely notes, the pretty colours that you have in your wallet or your purse that you think are, real money, yes, they're a lot more real than, CBDCs and digital numbers in an account, but they're still not real money because they're actually really debt instruments. Okay, every single note in your wallet has an inherent debt attached to it. Okay, and most people think, oh, but I've got all these lovely green and yellow notes in my purse or wallet, I'm doing really well. They've all got an inherent debt. So there is no integrity in the current financial system at all. But this is the rubbish that the media like to spin and twist to make you buy into all of this. The shift towards a cashless society isn't just a possibility, it's already well underway. The blend of technological advancements, changing consumer preferences, and regulatory adaptations has set the stage for this transformation. The new regulations will help Australians navigate this transition more confidently. Only if they're stupid or blind and don't do their own research. That is the only way that any of this rubbish is going to help anybody. Okay? Because I'm not sure about you, I can only speak for myself, but I'm certainly not confident, okay, that the banks and the government are going to keep our data safe at all. I'm not the slightest bit confident that our purchases will not be tracked and then used for targeted marketing purposes specifically designed to make us spend more and keep us constantly indebted, which is exactly what the system wants. Okay? And ultimately, I believe, and again, I don't have a crystal ball, it's just my personal belief, but I believe our accounts will ultimately be linked to the ATO for automatic payment of taxes based on your spending, with you then being required to try and prove that you actually had, other legitimate expenses over and above those, and now you have to go and try and fight the ATO to get money back from them that they just decided to take out of your account because that's what their AI systems decided you owed on taxes. Okay? This is not, again, some big brother conspiracy. This is already all in the pipeline. Most of you, especially anyone with a Westpac account, go onto your internet banking and you'll see the ATO is already listed there as a payee. It's already there. It's already being implemented. And I think some of the other banks are doing similar things. Once again, this is all being promoted under this guise of convenience and simplicity and safety and security and all these things. But as the old saying goes, those who trade liberty for security deserve neither. Okay, so please be aware of what is really going on here. Okay, now here's the thing. They can have all the regulations. They can bring in all the laws that they like. Okay, but those will have absolutely no impact whatsoever on technology and outages. Okay, and that's what we keep hearing about all the time. Now, if any of you out there use a Windows-based computer, you'll know how often your computer has to do a Windows update. Now, sometimes it's just a simple thing that it just does in the background. Other times it might require a quick restart. But other times you go back to your computer and the whole thing's shut down. You've got to start it up again from scratch. You've got to restore all of your lost documents. You've got to restore all of your lost internet tabs, and all the rest of it. Now, that's just a simple Windows update on a laptop or a desktop. Okay? Financial systems are way, way more complex. Okay? And as we all know, technology moves at a remarkable pace. So therefore, all of these updates, okay, are likely to happen more often than ever before. And again, they will impact your ability to pay in at least some way. Now, sometimes it's just a smooth overnight update and a smooth transition to the new system, but sometimes the system goes down for hours, maybe even a whole day. Like we saw happening, with Woolworths recently the other week. It's also happened with all of the major 4 banks multiple times already this year. Every time one of the payment systems, the internet, the bank, that particular retailer's computer system, the bank's computer system, the Telstra or Vodafone internet that the payment system's operating, anytime any one of those goes down, if we get rid of cash completely, you have no way to pay. It's as simple as that. So here's the thing. This is my suggestion, again, my personal belief, that until they find a way to create absolutely guaranteed no downtime of the digital platforms at all, which of course is completely impossible, then we have to keep cash alive, at least as a backup form of payment that everybody has to accept. Okay, and that is what I would urge you all to push for. And again, as always, please share these videos around, share these links, share these stories around as far and as wide as you can. I genuinely, honestly believe that this is the single biggest issue that we are currently facing right now. And we need to get everybody on board, let everybody think about the ramifications of what it's going to mean to them personally. Because here's the thing in life, no one does anything, no one changes anything unless it affects them personally. So we need to explain to everyday Aussies how this system is going to affect them personally every single time there's any type of outage, update, anything like that, which are happening more and more regularly every single day. And we need to get people on board, and we need to stop this push towards the cashless society. So before I finish up tonight, again, a very quick reminder about our special spring promotion. I've mentioned that on the last few updates. We are, of course, giving away a free Know Your Rights cap and beanie on any orders over $100. Now, once again, spring has proven to be true to word, especially here in Victoria. I think we had something at 28 degrees on Friday, so I was wearing my cap. Today, I think we had 12 or 13 degrees top temperature with howling winds and rain and all the rest of it. So the beanie definitely helped to keep my head warm. So we are including those, as I said, as a bonus. They're $50 worth of value, so it's an extra 50% essentially getting on any orders over $100. And that can be a book, a CD, home study course, make it up with a couple of different products, whatever you like. But we do want to make sure everyone has access to that if they want it. So just have a look on our products page. You'll find a link in the description. And if there's anything in there that you're after, put them together and we'll pop those in for you. Again, that must finish this coming Thursday, the 26th of October, though. So it has been going already a week and a half, so please make sure you get your orders in before Thursday. And of course, the last thing I want to remind everyone about is our one-off Ultimate Advanced Mastermind Bootcamp that is being held obviously here in Melbourne on the 18th and 19th of November. Again, you can find out more about that unique event via the link on our seminar page, or there should be a direct link going up in the description to this video now. That is 50% sold out already. There are only 50 seats available, so please don't put off your decision. If you want to secure a seat, do that sooner rather than later. If you're having a little bit of a struggle making payment or something, feel free to email us and we'll work with you and ensure that you can get along to that event. Now, of course, speaking of events, if you missed our live events for whatever reason this year, do make sure you grab a copy of our home study course. That is a complete recording of one of those 2.5 day live events. There's 17 DVDs, a CD with all the documents that we use ourselves, 3 custom-made workbooks. There's sections next to, write notes next to every single slide for every single presentation that we do. You can pause, rewind, fast forward in the comfort of your own home at your own pace. It is a fantastic resource that you'll come back to again and again. All right, so finally I'm going to finish off, as I always do, with some of the latest memes to get people thinking. Now, I know the voice is said and done, but some of the good memes are still coming out. How good is this one? The one-hit wonder, Anthony Albanese and the voice. Thankfully, that didn't even rise to the top. It just fizzled out completely. And here's another one, a good old Turkish proverb. And I think that's very apt in the face of his failure with the voice. When a clown moves into a palace, he doesn't become a king, the palace becomes a circus. And that's certainly what we are here in Australia to the majority of the world. Just one big circus that we can allow a clown like him to lead us down the path of something that had no prospect of success and ultimately failed miserably, like the voice did. Now, we've obviously been speaking a lot about digital ID, cashless society, CBDCs. This is very important, so please take a moment to take note of this, because this is exactly how the system works. This is what they are doing to you, and most people don't have a clue. So it says, you work for your money. They print it out of nothing, in the process devaluing your money that you go to work for. Then they claim you owe them a portion of your money that you just worked hard for to earn, and you think society would collapse without them. Oh, we need the government loves us and cares about us, and without them we'd have nothing. Again, I've said this before, go and just look at the word government. The first part of the word government is govern. The word govern means to limit. Okay, so whatever your personal religious beliefs, God, the universe, whatever, okay, we are unlimited beings. So why do we need to be limited or governed by government? It makes no sense. It's one of the biggest lies that society all around the world has bought into, that we somehow need some entity or people in fancy suits in big white houses governing us and limiting us. Okay, you need us, otherwise you wouldn't be able to survive. What a load of rubbish. Okay, think back to 10,000 years ago when we all lived in little villages and all lived in little communities, and someone built the huts and someone sewed the clothes and someone went fishing and someone, tended to the crops, and there was no government. And everybody lived very, very happily. They all shared in the resources and the wealth of that community. Everybody did their little bit to help each other. There was, is, and always will be no need for government. No need for us to be governed or limited in any way. Ah, yes, trust the science. Another favourite one of theirs. Well, there's understanding the science. Look closely at the money. Follow the money. Okay, and again, I've had this conversation with a few people in the past week or so. Okay, that huge Moderna factory, okay, that they're building right here in Victoria. Do you honestly think that they would be investing those kind of resources for the 10-year period that they've signed up to if they weren't going to make a hell of a lot of money out of it? Okay, something is coming. Be prepared. And finally, I'm going to leave you with this one, because we talk so much about conspiracy theorists, but I'd like you all to get your head around this concept, which is a complicity theorist. A complicity theorist. So, a complicity theorist is a person who accepts the political narrative of the day unquestionably, consumes mainstream media like it was 1980, and is prone to submissiveness, outbursts of irrational fear, and public shaming of free thinkers. Okay? So you certainly don't want to be a complicity theorist in any way, shape or form. So I'm going to leave things there for tonight. As always, I urge you to please make sure you make use of all of the resources that are available to you to please get informed, get fired up, and get proactive. We need people taking action. There is plenty of completely free information on our website, on the other websites that we mentioned. There's links in the description. These videos, of course, are completely free to watch. We are uploading a lot of them now back to our YouTube channel. Obviously, we were very, very heavily censored during COVID. Anything that we said that went against the mainstream narrative, they just censored us straight away. So we are able to, hopefully, fingers crossed, upload a few more of these to YouTube. But as always, you will find them on the videos tab on our Facebook page, or of course on our BitChute channel. Our radio shows, again, completely free to listen to every Tuesday night. We're back again this Tuesday between 8 and 10 p.m. Just go to the radio show tab. There should be a link in the description. Click on the big black listen live button and you can listen to us from wherever you are in the world. Obviously those shows are 2 hours long, so we can go into a lot more detail. They're completely uncensored, so we can go into all the nitty gritties and say the things that we can't say in these videos, all those sorts of things. Now, of course, if you want to go above and beyond that, we do urge you to grab a copy of our ebook, The Essential Step-by-Step Manual for Understanding and Exercising Your Rights. There's also that Aussie Speeding Fines book, which we've spoken about many, many times. The tried, tested and proven process for successfully challenging all manner of unjust and unlawful fines. And again, we do know a lot of people are struggling financially, so please stop throwing good money after bad at these unsecured loans, your credit cards, personal loans, things like that. Grab that book and learn that process. You can get these all individually. You can get them as part of the combo pack. You do, of course, get that Know Your Rights tote bag included as a bonus, completely free of charge. And, of course, if you do get any of those packs, that will obviously come over to $100. You do get the free cap and Know Your Rights beating included with that, but only until Thursday as a bonus. And I mentioned before, of course, that home study course, fantastic resource tool that you'll come back to again and again and again as you come up with different challenges over the course of the years. So I'm going to leave things there. I hope you'll have a fantastic week. We'll speak to you live on a Tuesday night and next live video on Thursday evening. Take care.